You want to talk about viruses? Let's start with the name. Corona, Latin for crown, but also astronomically, the corona is the outermost part of the sun, a ring of plasma seen during a total solar eclipse. You think that's a coincidence? You think that name just popped out of nowhere because the further back you look, the more you'll realize history doesn't just repeat, it spirals. And pandemics don't just show up, they arrive on schedule, synced with cosmic rhythms. Stay with me here. Look up the solar maximum, the 11-year cycle where the sun flips polarity, spews radiation, spikes in geomagnetic activity. And watch what happens every time that energy crests. The 1918 flu, solar max. SARS, solar activity spike. COVID-19, solar minimum rebound. When the sun shifts, the earth reacts, not just with climate, with biology, with behavior, with belief. The ancients knew this. They didn't just track eclipses for fun. They built entire civilizations around solar alignments because they understood when the sun acts strange, so do we. Look at the full moon. Plagues, collapses, revolutions, renaissances all echo the pulse of the sun. But we've forgotten that, so we medicalize what's cosmic. We pathologize what's cyclical, and we turn every energetic upgrade into a crisis to be feared and monetized. So let's talk about pandemics, real ones and scripted ones. The way fear was weaponized, the way control was digitized, the way language was reprogrammed, social distancing, essential workers, the new normal. All loaded phrases, all ritual incantations, and the masks weren't just fabric, they were symbols. They weren't just about breath, they were about voice, about conformity, about visibility. And while everyone was looking at the virus under the microscope, no one looked up and asked, why now? Why 2020? Why the Great Reset? Why the sudden convergence of biology, finance, and surveillance? Because maybe the virus wasn't just a pathogen. Maybe it was a signal, a fork in the timeline, a spiritual test. Or maybe it was just a ritual, a planetary initiation, misread as a crisis. You think pandemics are just about hygiene, or are they about purging? You think quarantine is about safety, or is it a metaphor for introspection we were all too busy to face? And why did everything start happening in sync with solar events? Why did ancient timelines, astrological prophecies, and elite agendas all align then? Corona wasn't just a virus, it was a mirror. And what you saw in it, fear or freedom, isolation or clarity, says everything about the cycle you're in. The sun is changing, the earth is changing, consciousness is changing, and every system built on darkness and distraction is scrambling to hold you in place while the light floods back in. Some more proof. Spanish flu, 1918, solar max. SARS, 2002, solar flare spikes. COVID-19, 2019, right before the solar minimum reversed course. Sun cycle 25 kicks in, and suddenly lockdowns, mandates, digital tracking. Coincidence or cosmological clockwork? Look at 1859, the Carrington event. Geomagnetic storm wipes telegraph systems. 3 years later, the 1862 Cholera pandemic. Now pull up the Rockefeller Foundation's 2010 lockstep scenario. Fictional document or predictive script. Describes global pandemic, authoritarian response, biometric ID, public compliance through fear, a decade before it played out frame by frame. Look at Event 201, hosted months before COVID, a simulation of a coronavirus outbreak. Same language, same players, same outcome. Now, Bill Gates funding vaccine rollouts while investing in digital ID infrastructure. Fauci speaking at Georgetown in 2017. There will be a surprise outbreak. Look it up. WEF talking openly about digital passports before the virus ever had a name. And let's go bigger. Sunspots peak, governments tighten. Solar storms spike, surveillance expands. 2008 financial collapse followed solar maximum. 2001 solar flare season. 1987 market crash. Geomagnetic turbulence. Human behavior isn't just psychological, it's electromagnetic. Why do ancient texts talk about signs in the sun? You'll notice things happen around eclipses, solstices, and equinoxes. Why are your tech devices being calibrated to your heartbeat while geomagnetic storms are at century highs? Because they know what you forgot. This isn't just a war for your data. It's a war for your rhythm. And when you're off rhythm, fearful, scattered, isolated, you're programmable. And when you sink back to the earth, to the sky, to yourself, you're ungovernable. So yeah, look these things up. It's all there. The solar cycles and the policy white papers and the footnotes of the news they don't want you to read. They're not hiding it. They just trained you not to look. That's not conspiracy. That's cosmology. Humanfluence, out.